Bills fans, what is up? Started the room before, but it was doing weird shit. I didn't want to continue with it, but plan on doing a video. When was it? Wednesday or Tuesday? I'm glad I didn't. Every time I do that and I postpone it, I think there's something looking out for me. What what a scene last night. Antonio Brown on the surface, of course, initial hit of it is like, oh, eye popping. Holy shit! Can't believe this is about to go down. The team that's always snarked at from some of its fans, local media about the process, not wanting that kind of guy. All of a sudden, they're in on that kind of guy, and for whatever reason, a deal falls through. Maybe it was never close. I tend to think it was a bunch of things, not just one thing. I think it was the team showing interest in the player maybe wanting certain financial concessions or more than the team was willing to do. Maybe the team was willing to do that, but they weren't set on the compensation that was going to be given to Pittsburgh. Whatever. Maybe it's Pittsburgh trying to get him moved before that roster bonus is due. I believe sometime next week. It's like 2.5 million. They want to spur a trade, clear that to get into free agency. There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons. I'm not going to sit here and say the Bills did something bad here. Everybody kind of wants to condemn them for being, close to the best, process oriented. And when they try to do something bold and it doesn't come to fruition for whatever reason, it's their own doing. You can't force a player. I mean, AB said himself today on his IG, I have no say in where I go. Supposedly he had a say where he went. Hey, what's up, Christian? Didn't want to for maybe didn't want to come to Buffalo. I personally don't care in terms of I don't want players that don't want to be there. He's a great talent. His age scares me a little bit. His attitude of late scares me a little bit. Maybe it's been there all along. We just started to see it come to fruition, to the surface within the last year or so. I don't know. I just was not all this butthurt about that. It was just there's no games being played. It's 5 days before free agency, and everybody wants to get hot and bothered about this. Things happen. I'm sure there's a million and one deals that we don't hear about that, wow, if that would have happened, that would have been crazy, but they never see the light of day. And I think this was one of those deals. I mean, I think everybody was up till around 1 a.m., at least Eastern Standard Time, checking to see. I'm not going to lie. I had a friend get back to me and say, you know what, I'm skeptical about this. I put it on my IG. I posted it, unofficial, official. I was just like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm not going to waste my time. Yeah, like if he wants to go to the Raiders and then somehow the Raiders are pimped as some model of order as compared to the Bills, I'm gonna laugh at that. Then I'm gonna be like, okay, just say you don't want to play in the cold, but don't act like you're going to a better situation. Don't act like you're going to some football utopia. The dude's basically got his way out of a so-called modeled franchise, at least in the past, with a Hall of Fame, soon to be Hall of Fame quarterback, a great offense, and where he gets all the fucking passes he wants, and he's malcontent. Okay, Ben's a dick. Okay, Tom Brady's a dick. John Elway was a dick. Dan Marino was a dick. Jim Kelly was a dick. Lots of quarterbacks are dicks. Maybe Ben's an insufferable dick. But dude, you catch 100 passes a year. Like he's caught like some ridiculous number. He's caught like was it 5, 6, 7 straight years of 100 catches? How many? That's insane. What more do you want? What more does he want? So him coming to Buffalo, I mean the player's talent is undeniable. I'm not going to argue that for 1 second, but it would have been I don't know. It was like me watching the Giants because I'm here in North New Jersey. I see a lot of the Giants and Jets. Watching the Giants, the last was it? Sorry, I'm going to turn that off. The last several games without Odell Beckham Jr. They played so much freer on offense. They played so much more loose because they feel like they have to feed him the ball to keep him happy. And they scored more points. They won a few more games. They were in a few more games. I just don't think that you have to have this A plus go to. You have to have good receivers. But I watched Allen flourish a little bit at the end of last season with Robert Foster and Zay Jones, with basically no tight end to speak of, no running game. You're in this time of year, you can get him better weapons. You don't need to pigeonhole yourself into a corner with Antonio Brown and his antics. Thought I silenced this thing. I apologize. I turned up the volume. But hey, Christian, how are you doing, man? And for the other few viewers, I appreciate it. I know it's Friday. It is not, everybody's probably out doing their thing. There wasn't going to be a lot of people on here, but I'm at home, so I had time to come on here. But it's frustrating to see all the people when they try something bold and maybe it doesn't work out, they want to bitch and moan. And supposedly there's this idea that they'll never try something bold because they have process paralysis, I like to call it. They won't ever do anything bold. That's bullshit. They've tried bold things, and for some have worked out and some haven't. Trading up multiple times to get a quarterback in the top 10, that's bold. That's bold. Trying to go in on Antonio Brown is bold. Either way, he did or didn't come. That happens. What are you going to do? You can't sit here and like, I had a friend telling me today, like, oh, they should have been better prepared. They should have been better, a better destination in terms of being more desirable as a team. I'm like, so they were basically supposed to build their team on this idea that they can get Antonio Brown. You don't even know Antonio Brown's available till he's available. You don't end the season and think Antonio Brown's available. Come on with that stuff. I don't care about this. I really don't. I don't see what people are so up in arms about. I mean, I'm more focused on regular free agency, the combine, all that stuff, post-combine, and the draft. I don't care about this. People just put way too much energy into this today. I saw a few things, even had local people like media here that cover Jets and Giants. They were just making, jokes about the Bills and this and that. I'm thinking to myself, what kind of fucking hypocrites are you? You guys have Odell Beckham Jr. here with the Giants. He don't even want to be here with this so-called storied franchise Hall of Fame quarterback, and he doesn't want to be here. He just got $100+ million. He don't want to be here. What do these players want? There's only so many Miamis and LAs to go around, and it's not like they're winning Super Bowls. They're going to Super Bowls and shit in the bed. Rams, worst Super Bowl performance I've ever seen in my life. It was terrible. Come on. That's a joke. Stop with that stuff. That is a joke. I was just like, first, second of all, your team is 8 games worse than the Bills in the standings over the last half decade. So over the last 5 years, you're 8 games worse. I can do even 2 and 3, and it's even worse than that. Come on, man. It's not like there's some glorious football culture they got going on here in this area to be throwing shit at anybody. The Jets? Are you kidding me? What have they fucking... They're 13 games worse than the fucking Bills are. Come on, man. I'm not trying to sit here and post the Bills up as some they've had, but you know what? They've had many more head coaches and a worse quarterback situation just as much as anybody has. And they've still managed to cobble together 1 game below 500 record in 5 years, as opposed to the Giants, who have, 8 games under 500 with 1 quarterback. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. So, yeah, there is a little more to it than the quarterback. But you know what? When that quarterback's not as good as he used to be, let's call it what it is. I'm done talking about the Giants. But whatever you guys want to talk about, a few of you are in here. I'm the whole combine thing. Obviously, all the attention went right to DK Metcalf, the way he looks with his shirt off, the way he ran straight, not the way he did his shuttle runs. Yeah, that's a failed at what? What did they fail at? This is my thing. That's a lot of conjecture. They failed. So the report was bad that he was going to the Bills. Okay, first of all, you got a bad report. You got a bad report from Jump Street. I didn't believe it. I'm like, the only time I snapped it, I Instagrammed it. The only time I believe the Bills will get Antonio Brown will when they officially say they've got him. I don't believe this report. I didn't believe it. It didn't pass the smell test. Nobody else touched it. Schefter didn't touch it. Josina Anderson didn't touch it. None of the ESPN or Fox guys touched it. They wouldn't even sniff it. Glazer, nothing. Nobody with any reputable. Rappaport, who I have a low fucking opinion of. A low opinion of it. It just continues to get worse if that's humanly possible. But yeah, I heard all that whiny bullshit, about, oh, they failed. What did they fail at? What did they fail at? I want to know what's the big deal? What's the big deal here? What did they fail at? You can only attempt to do something, but the second the other team or the agent or the player decides they want more and you're only willing to go to a certain point, you got to stop and be like, nah, we'll go here, but we're not going to go here. Whether it was draft compensation, fiscal compensation for the player in terms of a contract extension, or both. He doesn't, and maybe he has reservations about coming to Buffalo. I don't know. But be that as it may, what did they fail at? They want to sit here and say they failed. I want to know, what was it at? They knew the state of the team. The state of the team has not changed. It's not even the official time to acquire players yet. They're in the process of making themselves a better team. They're in their first full offseason with a regular cap, a good cap situation, a quarterback in place, the first one. So how are they supposed to all of a sudden, get that magic wand out? I love that kind of crap. I think it's fanciful. It's easy to paint the Bills, well, they suck. Yeah, the Bills haven't been good over the last. Tell us something we don't know. Regurgitate something fans don't know where the team has been. My God. No, I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. would be in the cards at all. AJ Green, to me, would be a lot more of an appealing player, but Odell Beckham Jr., I have no desire in seeing him. I don't think Julio is going to be available, but what it does show is their willingness to go out and be aggressive. But they showed their willingness to be aggressive before. In the draft last year, trading up multiple times to get a quarterback in the first round, trading up again to get a linebacker they wanted. They've shown aggressiveness. So I expect this to offseason to be the same. They're not going to sit on their hands and just pick at 9. They're not going to sit on their hands and just, they could trade back. Maybe they could trade up a few spots and get a player that they want. I don't know. Maybe they could shell out a few more bucks to get a player that they like in free agency as opposed to old Bills regimes. I think there's this split between Bills fans. I don't know if it's a split. I just think there are Bills fans that are in the camp. They're firmly entrenched of, this is just still the Bills. This is still the Bills. This is Ralph Wilson. This is Russ Brandon. This is Tom Modrak. This is John Guy. This is all these old heads that are no longer there running the ship. It's not. The purse strings as part facility, coaches, that's the stuff where Ralph was cheap. Infrastructure for the facility, that stuff is gone. All those constraints are gone. None of those guys went up and had the balls to go get a young quarterback. None of them did. Modrak, I'm sorry, what's his name? Donahoe. Yeah, there's another one. He took a wide receiver, then took the quarterback 2 years after he traded from an old man in the division. Bledsoe. Yeah, what kind of situation is he going to be happy? I'm going to laugh when it ends up being the Raiders. Go to the Raiders, dude. Basically a reloading. basically you just want to play in hot weather. Just say you want to play in hot weather. That's it. If that's what it comes down to, that's what it comes down to. Otherwise, I don't care. I don't care about this player. I don't. They won a Super Bowl in his rookie year when he wasn't even a big part of the team. They still had Mike Wallace and Hines Ward. I think Heath Miller was there too as the main guys. I care nothing about this. This guy is not going to go somewhere and win. I know it. I've seen players like this before. You get these wide receivers every 5-10 years that think they just can transform a team. Terrell Owens almost did it with the Eagles. I'll give him that. He almost did it. I'll give him that. He almost did it. But you get a lot of these guys, they lose a little bit of their twitches, a little bit of their quicks, explosiveness, done. And at 5'10", going to be 31 years old, I'm not betting on that. Guy's a workout freak. Guy, I will say that he is passionate about putting it in, taking care of his body. I'll give him that. But I always think about the old saying, sometimes it's better the movie you don't make rather than the one you make. So let's just move on. I was talking about DK Metcalf before. Me personally, there's no way his body fat was 1.6. There's no way in hell that, or 1.8. There's no way. He would have ripped his hamstring to shreds. Your body needs fat. It was probably around mid-4s. And if he's going to play in season, it's probably going to have to be above 8. There's no way you can maintain that. And then his shuttles and his were terrible. They were terrible. I just don't want a straight line guy who looks the part, and that's what he does. He's the Madden cap, the Madden creative player. I much if they're gonna pick a wide receiver and a move, maybe this shows you how vested they are in trying to get weapons for Josh Allen, that they would take a Marquise Brown. That would be interesting. Maybe they trade back, take him, pick up a pick on day 2. That could be interesting as well. Either way, we'll see. I'm boring. I want to go offensive line. I know a lot of fans, they love that fantasy diva, wide receiver, tight end. I love those things too, but protect this kid. Protect your franchise. Build your line. Get a pass rusher. Get a stud interior defensive lineman. That's what I do. Again, boring. But I think that stuff wins. When the Bills were getting run on last year, yeah, he'd be dead. He'd be seeing stars. You can't even look into the light when you're like, I've been in the gym, man, and I've been dehydrated, and I've never been anywhere near 2% body fat, let alone 1 point whatever. And I felt like, oh man, like I really need to rehydrate, need something, because I'm gonna be hurting. I mean, so I'm just reading your comment, Damager. I'm sorry. Yeah, you just he's always been nicked up at Ole Miss. He's always been nicked up. I'm not going to kick Antonio Brown anymore or anything like that. The move didn't happen. Maybe it was just talk. I think it was a combination of a lot of things. Obviously the Bills, there was some interest. Maybe the player wasn't interested in coming to the Bills. They couldn't agree on financial terms. Maybe it's Pittsburgh trying to use the Bills to try to push, float the Bills, knowing they're in talks to try to, like, hey, maybe we can get a better offer. Maybe we can get a better offer. The Bills have a top 10 pick. You know damn well the Raiders aren't parting with their 4, but they have other 2s and they have other mid-rounders. The Bills don't have 2 or 3 3s. They only have 1 3 at this point. So I don't know how it all broke down, but it broke down, and I don't care. I'm waiting for next. We should start to hear a lot of stuff tomorrow about free agents, things getting worked out, things being, we're going to start hearing it tomorrow. I don't think this is going to wait, and we'll probably see a few more trades tomorrow too. I don't know what those. I mean, I wish I knew. I wish I had a crystal ball here. I would share it with you, but I have no clue, man. It's some of the stuff that happened today. Olivier Vernon, Landon Collins being jettisoned, basically like Giants saying, hey, we're moving on. A couple of the other trades didn't really floor me. I've we saw Olivier Vernon with the Dolphins, and I've see him here with the Giants. It's okay. He's your Robin to your Batman, and he's been nicked up, and he's 30, and he makes a lot of money. So have fun. Hopefully Cleveland gets a good player. I'm not going to sit here and knock a player and hopefully suck. I don't do that. Do I want the Bills to kick the ass? Hell yeah. We're all competitive, but I don't know any other guys that you guys liked at the combine. Me, I have man crushes on Jonah Williams, TJ Hawkinson, and I did kind of like the Sweat kid a little more. I know he ran a crazy combine, but it wasn't about that. They need pass rushers. They need young pass rushers. I love Ed Oliver. I don't care about the whole sitting thing at the end of the year. The guy is a phenomenal talent. Quickest way to the quarterback is point A to point B, right up the middle. The kid gets crazy pass rush. I'll be happy with a number of players if they stay at 9. So it's going to be really, really, really fun. I see. Fant to me is a big wide receiver. I mean, if they got him, be like, oh, that's a nice weapon for your offense. But I like Hawkinson more because I see he blocks, he moves around, he catches and runs just as good as Fant. He didn't have the time Fant did, but his game speed is just as good when he's on the field. That's why I like him more. I mean, I would not complain if they went up and took Hawkinson. I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't I'd love it. I'd love it. They're going to take a wide receiver. I just don't know where. I just wish I knew. I don't know if they're going to, does this say now that they're going to take one in the first round? I don't know. Maybe it says that they don't want to pay as much in free agency as some of these guys are going to get. Like, I don't want them to pay big money for Terrell Williams. Don't go out and blow your wad on him. Get a few better receivers, but I don't think you have to go out and break your back over a few of these guys. But, free agency to me, the offensive line class wasn't good to begin with. It's thinned out a lot. The crown jewel for me is Mitch Morse. If they get Mitch Morse in free agency, a veteran corner, maybe another defensive lineman on the edge, another offensive lineman, a wide receiver, that's 5. And then we'll probably see 2 or 3 guys tabbed as special team players. Maybe they'll be woven into some of those other positions. I don't know. Probably the corner and the wide receiver. One of the wide receivers, I think they'll bring in 2 wide receivers and a tight end also. So we're looking at like 8 players. 8 players. Paris Campbell is, wow, I didn't know he was going to run that well. He ran. I don't think see guys who run like that, man, I don't know if they make it to the 3rd round. I see people putting certain names with draft simulators and all that stuff, and I'm like, some of these guys are going to go, man. Some of these receivers who can run like this, these tight ends who can run like this, they're going to fly off the board. They're going to just go. That's why I'm like, get your lineman. If you can go get if Jonah Williams is the best offensive lineman in this class and he's there at 9, you take him. You just take him. He can play either. He played right tackle his freshman year, and he's played left tackle his last 2. He's blocked for a left-handed starting quarterback and a right-handed starting quarterback, and he can kick inside to guard. To me, I would be like, awesome. Not sexy, but awesome. I'm not saying he's of this guy's talent at all, but look at what Quentin Nelson did for the Colts offense, the impact he had. Granted, they went out and got another good, healthy Andrew Luck, of course. I know that helps. I'm not underscoring that. But that kid up there blocking for him, blocking for the run, the other kid, Brennan Smith, on the right side that they got in the second round, build your lines. It's not like going out in free agency and breaking the bank on some guys that are just, Mitch Morse, I love. If they go out and spend money on him, great. Veteran center, can settle everything down. He's versatile. He's athletic. He's smart. He's played like a whole bunch of games straight and consecutive. Hasn't been injured. Knock on wood. So there you have it. I've seen Campbell burn people. It's hard to tell in some offenses in college what kind of routes guys run. Marquise Brown, though, he's smooth as hell, man. I would love to have that guy. And crazy, he's Antonio Brown's cousin. Crazy. But this whole next month and a half I say it every time of year, it's the outside of games, it's the funnest time of year. Like looking forward to getting up every day, seeing what happens. It's just the outside of game days, like game weeks during the NFL season, it's the funnest time of year for a football fan, because every day rosters are going to change, things happen, surprises. It's just, and then when you're sitting there watching these names that you've looked at and thought about all this time starting to get taken by teams or free agents who actually sign with teams, you can start putting names to teams. That's, it's like mini Christmases each day. But I wanted to just come on here really quick, guys, and I'm gonna jump off of here. It's I have to get up mad fucking early. It's on a Saturday, which sucks. So you guys have a good one. Take care. Thanks for UZI, Danger, all you guys, Damager, Christian, William, all you guys who come in. You're great. I know there's some others who aren't here, but other people have lives. I don't have a life. Bills are my life. Bills are my life. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it for giving me your time. Have a great Friday evening, and go Bills, and fuck all the haters.